Chapter 208. A blinding light erupted, followed by a powerful shockwave. Indeed, the clash between two fourth-order transcendent creatures was nothing short of a catastrophe. Yes, we had just called the author and learned that the crocodile had reached the fourth order through the tide of spiritual power. The lava dragon emerged from the dust, roaring, and the black dragon also roared loudly to show its dominance, its eyes radiating ferocity and audacity. Swift as lightning, it lunged and bit the head of the lava dragon, fresh blood splattering in all directions. At this moment, the black dragon felt its confidence drop by about 70%, thinking that only the purple python in this area was of the fourth order. To its surprise, after sensing the spiritual power in the area, it discovered several other fourth-order beings, including its current adversary. Life is never easy, is it? Suddenly, the lava dragon raised its elegant hand, its ultimate claw technique. Instantly, the four claws shone brightly, heated to thousands of degrees Celsius, and it struck a deadly blow to the dragon's neck. Remember, this wound not only inhibits recovery because it's an open wound, but it's also a burn, causing the black dragon to feel as if the pain had doubled. It squinted its eyes and cursed, retaliating against its opponent with its deadly breath. At any distance, any long-range attack has the potential to be fatal to the opponent. One cannot be careless. The lava dragon, with its terrifying body, could not dodge. Even if it was fast enough, it would not dodge, as the attack might fly to the back where its comrades were smoking cannabis, a hymn, absorbing spiritual power. It had to use its sturdy wings as a shield, then stood upright, spreading its wings to disperse the deadly white gas. The nine-tailed fox was observing the opponent from behind. From this angle, the addicted dragon seemed to be more prominent than the lava dragon. Strange, isn't it? And it seemed that the two were having an equal fight. Seeing this, the fox gently flicked its tails. She knew that if the crocodile emperor could fight freely instead of fighting while protecting the rear, it would be easier to decide the battle. But in this situation, it seemed that the battle would be prolonged. The black dragon was indeed not to be underestimated, and the final result was unpredictable. On the boundary of the nine tails, right behind the lava dragon, several cracks had appeared. The lava dragon deliberately stood there to protect everyone. Did you notice? Since the battle with Australith, the nine-tailed fox has made a lot of progress in terms of her own quality, not only in attributes and strength, but also in her character. Her arrogance, impatience, and hatred have decreased a lot, and she is becoming more and more like a true leader with extreme calmness and caution. At this moment, after careful consideration, she decided to join the battle. She roared, "I will fight." But suddenly a voice rang in her head, startling her. "Feel free to absorb the spiritual power." Oh, it was the divine tree that had opened its eyes. Could it have completed its evolution? Over here, the black dragon began to twist its body and roar, preparing to attack. The lava dragon was not inferior, also singing its song into the love song of the opponent. The two dragons roared together, making the divine tree almost deaf. The black dragon swooped down. As it swooped, it shouted, "It seems that if I don't kill you today, you won't let me pass, right?" The lava dragon, with a fierce face, also roared, "Stop talking nonsense." Suddenly, a black root shot up from the ground and pierced the space, preventing the two dragons from fighting. The divine tree turned to the crocodile and said, "Crocodile, you should go back to practice. Leave it to me." Seeing the divine tree, the crocodile was also shocked. Its aggressive demeanor completely disappeared. The black dragon met the divine tree and roared, immediately wanting to fight, but of course not here. The divine tree threw a punch at its noisy mouth. The divine tree coldly said, "Just follow me to this place." And the punch just punched the dragon straight into the space crack that the divine tree had just created. Then the root also crawled in, returning the tranquility to this space. Inside, countless beasts were still quietly under the canopy of the divine tree. They were still actively focusing all their spirits on absorbing spiritual power. In the outer space, only the divine tree and the black dragon were left. At this moment, the divine tree had used its spatial roots to transform into a purple python. The black dragon thought it was hallucinating for a few seconds, But finally, it recognized that this purple python was the divine tree. No wonder their breaths were so similar. The divine tree calmly asked, "Has the darkness resurrected?" But for some reason, the dragon took offense. It started to curse with a fierce face. "This kind of thing, you think I will tell you? You have caused me severe injuries and lost the opportunity to upgrade to a real dragon. I just want to kill you right now." Oh, no wonder it was so angry. It had destroyed dozens of cities. The black dragon transformed its anger into power. Its entire body enveloped in a layer of blazing firelight, all its spiritual power erupting. The divine tree watched this scene and sighed. Indeed, this dragon was determined to kill the divine tree, even starting to burn its soul to compensate for the disparity in actual power, truly a stubborn one. Then, the black dragon prepared to spit spiritual power at the divine tree. This move would either kill or severely injure the enemy. It roared loudly. "I will roast you in this endless flame of karma." The divine tree calmly said, "Well, I refuse this kind of thing." Then it twisted its body and easily dodged the deadly flames that swept past. These flames were very strong. They were even constantly colliding with space and creating cracks. Perhaps after a while this place would also break apart. The divine tree looked at this scene and began to worry. It seemed that the plan to get information from this dragon had to be abandoned. It was too stubborn. If it took more time, it would cause the divine tree itself to suffer damage. Having not been able to extract any information, it would be better to quickly return to cultivation. The black dragon on this side continued to be engrossed in its work. It created 3 balls of light. It roared with glee. "Ha ha, it's not over yet." It prepared to throw at the divine tree. The divine tree felt that its plan was unsuccessful. Then it also got a bit angry. It shouted, "Shut up." Suddenly a huge claw stepped on the black dragon to the ground in a blink of an eye. It felt like stepping on a worm. The black dragon was taken aback, like missing a step on the stairs and falling straight to the ground. Fresh blood spurted out. The black dragon quickly guessed that this was the power of the spatial attribute. Indeed, as soon as it stepped into this space, it became a fish on the chopping board. There was absolutely no chance of winning. The divine tree stood in front of the black dragon, using its sharp eyes to look into its eyes. The divine tree said angrily, "Just with your ability, you also want to kill me? To me, you are just an ant." The black dragon underneath had known its identity. It held a mouthful of blood and said nothing. The divine tree solemnly said again, "Have you understood? Help me send a message to the dark realm." As soon as these words fell, the dragon suddenly raised its head. It seemed that it still had a chance to live, but suddenly the divine tree changed its tone and said arrogantly, "But forget it, become the material for my evolution." The black dragon immediately despaired. At this moment it began to regret its bitter words. "Wait for it, Uziyu, my master, the Dark King, will step on you under his feet." A crack sounded, fresh blood splashed out. But it seemed that the divine tree was still squeezing very tightly until the life signal of this dragon completely disappeared. Killing it once without dying was more than enough. The divine tree absolutely did not want a second time. That would be a silly joke, and in this outer space, the Dark Realm's ability to probe would be very limited. It almost could not detect the emergency signal of the black dragon and come to rescue. The divine tree looked to one side. It shouted, "Purple Scythe, are you there?" Space was suddenly cut out a neat path. The purple mantis appeared. As soon as it entered, it widened its eyes to look at the dead dragon on the ground. Could it be that the master needed someone to clean up the corpse? The divine tree gently said, "Eat it. It will help you improve your tendons." Without saying a word, the mantis immediately rushed to open its mouth as big as a dinosaur. The divine tree looked at this younger brother and sighed. Besides the spiritual power from the tide, the purple scythe did not receive anything else. It should have received some blessings from the tide of spiritual power, since after the evolution to the third order, its racial attribute had changed, carrying the ability to absorb the enemy. At this moment, the mantis suddenly choked. It was choking. The divine tree was releasing spiritual power and sensing this universe space. Besides the existence of the purple scythe in front of it, it clearly recognized the strong existence of other races. Indeed, in this vast universe, there are always hidden surprises. There are always higher mountains. The divine tree suddenly felt that it needed to be more cautious and humble. Even if it overcame the Dark Realm in the future, there would still be countless things to do. The mantis suddenly roared. Thunderbolts rose around its body. It had leveled up. Indeed, not beyond the divine tree's expectation, the mantis had reached the third-order peak for too long. It needed to supplement and improve its tendons by eating the flesh of others stronger than it to fully stimulate the spiritual power breakthrough. Look at this, a very sharp version of the mantis, abundant spiritual power wrapped around its body, the whole body a strong light of pale blue. End of chapter 208.